Good afternoon. Right, I've kind of been gone for a week. Been very busy. Haven't really had a lot of time to come on here and do any videos. So I think it'd be wise just to do a little roundup of last weekend. So rather than do individual videos, I'll just do a roundup as to speak. In my prediction videos, I kind of said that I didn't expect Adrien Broner to win by a knockout against John Molina, nor did I expect Keith Thurman to stop Robert Guerrero, but I did expect both fighters to be successful via wide or comfortable points decisions. Now, I have watched both fights, of course. The first fight, Adrien Broner versus John Molina, I was very impressed with the maturity and the attitude shown by Adrien Broner. Although it did look at times like he was, kind of his old cocky self in there. I don't want to take away too much of his personality, of course. That's what makes part of his boxing profile. But, I was impressed. It was just back to boxing, and he boxed very well. It was hard to give John Molina really a share of any of the rounds. Although, John Molina kind of just looked like he went in there with a tactic to swing wildly like Marcus Maidana and hope to catch Adrien Broner with something huge at some point through the fight, which just didn't look like happening. Adrien Broner's defence looks like it's certainly improved, or maybe that's just come along naturally with the maturity in the ring that was shown. And I still don't rate Adrien Broner very highly. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is, and I don't think he's going to make it as far as he thinks he's going to make it. I think if he's talked this week that since the fight that he's interested in fighting Amir Khan. I personally, and this is no disrespect to Adrien Broner, and it's not because I'm British and I'm supporting Amir Khan because I don't particularly like Amir Khan either, but I can't see Adrien Broner having the speed or the movement to give Amir Khan any problems in terms of boxing. I just think Amir Khan would just be able to keep him at the end of his jab, because obviously Amir Khan's the bigger guy, they have the longer reach, and Amir Khan's got faster hands than Adrien Broner's got the fastest hands around, if we're honest. And Amir Khan, doesn't hit the hardest, but with his combination punching and his speed, it kind of gives him that little bit of natural power that has caused a lot of his opponents problems in the past. So if that fight happens, I would literally hate to say it, but I wouldn't give Adrien Broner no more than a puncher's chance, really, unless Amir Khan really, really isn't at the races. I just can't see how Adrien Broner outboxes Amir Khan. I don't think Adrien Broner's a good pressure fighter because he gets caught too easily coming in. I don't think he has got the correct type of defense to keep Amir Khan off him or be able to defend against Amir Khan's combination punching and counter a punch to effect. I don't think that's I can't see Adrien Broner being able to implement that game plan against someone like Amir Khan. But of course this is boxing. I could be wrong. So we'll just have to see kind of if anything materialises with that rumour and see what happens. Moving on to the other fight, of course, that happened last Saturday, or the other big fight that happened last Saturday, was, of course, Keith Thurman defending his WBA regular welterweight title against Robert Guerrero. Again, in my pre-fight video, I kind of gave a similar prediction to the Adrien Broner John Molina fight, in the sense that I couldn't see Robert Guerrero having enough to keep Keith Thurman away or put Keith Thurman off punching, and I couldn't see him having the speed or the technical ability to really give Keith Thurman any problems in terms of actual boxing. So, you hate to say it because, you like to see 50-50 fights, but those two fights last weekend were kind of 75-25 fights in favour of one guy. In that fight, I said that I didn't expect Robert Guerrero's chin to crumble. I didn't expect him to get stopped. I was right about that. And it was a very, very, very comfortable points win for Keith Thurman. Of course, he did knock Robert Guerrero down in the 10th round as well. But the one thing I didn't expect is I didn't expect for it to be that comfortable. I did expect Robert Guerrero to maybe cause Keith Thurman a few problems and give him a few things to think about, especially early doors in the fight when it would have been a little bit more edgy or a little bit more cautious from both guys. So I kind of expected Robert Guerrero to at least maybe win 2 or 3 rounds, which is kind of what I was saying last week. But I was impressed. I was impressed with Thurman. Really impressed. And he's talking about bigger things. He talks about the Brook fight. I want to see Keith Thurman versus Kell Brook. I said that last week as well. I think that will be a terrific fight. Maybe not one for the, I don't think that kind of fight. A lot of people would look at both guys and say they've both got knockout power, and some people might look at it and misconstrue that we've got 2 guys that have got power and it's going to be a warrior's call kind of contest. I don't think it would be that kind of fight at all. I think if you look deeper at both boxers, both Keith Thurman and Kell Brook are very, very good fundamental boxers. They have fantastic technical ability, and they both are good movers, got good speed and good power. And one thing that I'd say about both guys as well is the way they box and the way they kind of, they defend themselves. It's very rare that they get hit flush. So I would expect that kind of fight, that Thurman-Brook fight, to be a very technical battle of chess for the majority. Especially because obviously Kell Brook's work rate isn't always there either. He's very likes to plant his feet, set his shots, short range. Doesn't really like to throw a lot of punches. Likes to be accurate rather than throw volume, shall we say? And he is very accurate. He's a very accurate puncher, Kell Brook is. So I don't think that fight would be one for the boxing casual. It would be one more for the boxing purist. But it's a fight I would love to see, and it's a fight that it would be really, really, really hard to predict who would come out on top. Really, like I say, that I think that would be a really good 50-50 fight. But of course, even though Keith Thurman won last weekend, Kell Brook's still got to get past his mandatory Jojo Dan from Romania, which is in a couple of weeks, I believe. I was initially meant to be going to that fight. I was originally going to get tickets, but I've had a little bit of a cash flow problem. So instead, I'll be enjoying that on the comfort of my own sofa. But yeah, so congratulations. Just to round off the video, congratulations to both Adrien Broner and Keith Thurman. Fantastic display by both guys, and only up to bigger things. Like I say, if it's going to be looking like it's Adrien Broner versus Amir Khan next, that's an interesting fight. Same with Thurman versus Brook, especially more interesting because the 2 fighters mainly linked to those fighters right now, of course, are both British, which makes things a little bit more interesting for me. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave your comments. Peace.